So glad to have you here. I'm Houston Tate, the Director of the Office of Community Revitalization. And we're so happy that the city of Pahokee allowed us to host this meeting. They've done a wonderful job preparing the gymnasium. I should say that's the Eddie L. Rhodes Gymnasium. I'm happy for him for the designation of his name on this building. So what we're going to first do is we're going to first have our invocation. Your very own Greg Williams. You can call him Pastor Williams, those who know him as Pastor Williams. I just know him as a great friend and a great partner. So I'm bringing up Mr. Greg Williams. Give him a round of applause.
Good morning. If you don't mind, could you stand with us, please, for a word of prayer? And if you know the word of prayer, you could join in with us. Let us pray. Father, we thank you. We praise you once again, God, for your mercy, your grace, your sovereignty, God, that you have shown us on this glorious day. Your word have encouraged us, God, to rejoice and be glad in this day, for this is the day that you have made. So, Father, we come to you this day inviting your presence, your wisdom, your knowledge and understanding, God, that you would be the author of this service, that you would lead and guide us. Give us, God, what we need today. I pray, God, for those that are here to share, God, all their resources, God, with this community. I pray, God, that someone would receive something, God, out of this meeting. But most of all, God, I pray, God, that your will be done, not just in this meeting, but in our lives. Now unto him that's able to do exceedingly, abundantly, above all that we can ever ask or think, according to the power that worketh in us. In Jesus' name I do pray. Amen.
Amen. Amen. Amen. So, because the meeting is for you, I think it's pointing for us to introduce our guests, to let us know who you are, and it also gives our presenters a little understanding as to where you are, whether you're in West Palm Beach or you could be from any other county, because you got to remember, folks who live in the Glades are everywhere. I've been in New York and heard people call my name, so we're everywhere. So what I'd like to do is start. Mr. Herman Lawrence has the mic, and he's going to pass the mic. First of all, I want to introduce my staff. I want to introduce Dr. Audley Reed, and we have George Schott here. You can clap now or clap later, but they do a great job assisting getting this GTAC meeting and CCRT meetings going. So first introduce yourself, Mr. Lawrence, and then if you'll pass the mic to everyone, let us know who you are and where you're from and what you're interested in hearing in this meeting, okay?
Oh, yes. Good morning. My name is Herman Lawrence. I'm a retired Sergeant First Class, 82nd Airborne Division, all the way every day. And I'm here basically to just get some insights on some of the benefits that the program offers, especially like you're talking about the homeless veterans. And sometimes veterans ask me, say, what can I do to provide some type of shelter for veterans? If we can impart some information on how you can get some type of building, or if you got a home and you got a couple of rooms and you can open up your home to veterans. Also, a lot of what I want you to talk about or emphasize on is some veterans who are service connected and 100% disabled. Sometimes maybe you have a disability where you just can't move, but you want to work, but you will get your compensation taken away from you. So if you want to open up a business, some of them shy away from that because, well, I'm going to lose my, my pension or my compensation. So if there's any way that we can find a way to do like a non-for-profit and not lose your benefits, just impart some information like that. But, and also, the last but not least, some veterans need someone to speak up for them, like Veterans Know Veterans, and like a judge advocate or some type of veteran program where you can go and help go to the courts with the veterans, and then just support the veterans, not only just go with them, but be that mentor or go-between and say, hey, this is what you need to do, whatever it is, you know. So those are my pet peeves, you know, and I'm just gonna pass it on to someone else.
You know, before you pass it on, I would be remiss to not recognize our elected officials. We have Vice Mayor Tasha Mervin. Give her a round of applause for the city of Pahokee. We have former City Commissioner Sarah Perez here in our audience. And here representing Commissioner, Regina Boland would be our County Commissioner, Administrative Assistants for Commissioner Baxter. So we want to thank them. They will say something, but I would be remiss as I didn't formally introduce them. I didn't see, okay. Oh, I'm sorry. We have South Bay Commissioner Barbara King, who's just, she's done such a wonderful job just being a everyday, hard-working resident. She's done everything, not only for Belglade, but South Bay, but she's crossed the entire region. So we want to thank you and congratulations on your commissionership. So now that we've done that, let's move the mic to Tadpole.
Hi, I'm Captain Richard Tadpole Brown from Pahokee, and I'm a veteran back from 1972. Some of my concerns is, as I heard the other veterans speak as saying about service-connected incidents, but my thing is when I look at veterans, even though when you come out there 18 years old, never left home, and they're telling you you're headed mostly to Vietnam. Now, you don't hear this word today, and you probably haven't heard it in 30 years, and that is a draft dodger. And you know, back then, a draft dodger was way worse today than a deadbeat dad. You know, we know about deadbeat dads, but back then, if you was a draft dodger, you was the lowest of the lowest. And now you've got an 18-year-old man that never left home, and now he's looking to go to war. Now he gets there, and he puts this uniform on, and he gets all type of respect when he's got that uniform on. He goes and he does his time. That same man comes back and takes that uniform on. Now he's looked at as a totally different person. So sometimes you all have heard the word, clothes make the man. In this situation here, when you get out of those clothes, you're just back where you started from. But I've experienced all this drama at the age of 18. Well, maybe I didn't get wounded, but I've been mentally disfigured. Because now I'm saying, well, I'm fearful for my life. My life been on the line. So I come back here, what benefits can I get? Only because it wasn't wounded in the service, but my mental problems came from the service. When you look back at you being 18 years old and you're talking about going to Vietnam when people were dying, I mean every day by the dozens, and you still was willing to go do that. That's a mental stress. Now you've got your drill sergeant that's constantly telling you in basic training, ain't no need in going home, cause Jody got your girl and gone. See, you don't need that. You understand what I'm saying? That's enough right there to make you a draft dodger, cause you in love, you're 18 years old. But you're mad enough to bite the bullet, to go on, to do that. So, like I said, when I was in basic training, I had one of my best friends. His name was Jeff Brown, and he was 18 years old. And hearing that, ain't no need in going home, and we went out on the firing line with 3 rounds. And the next sound I heard was, and here's Jeff Brown put this M16 to his head and takes his life. Now, in the same process, for 30 minutes, they took time out and removed Jeff Brown and took him wherever they needed to take him. And after that, we resume firing.
So, we appreciate that summary of stories. But what I'm going to ask everyone to do at this point, introduce yourself, tell us what organization you're here, and just shorten what you would like to hear, because we're going to be asking questions directly after each of these presenters. So, but I do appreciate your openness. Commissioner?
Good morning.
Morning.
Commissioner Clara Tasha Mervin, Vice Mayor, City of Pahokee. I'm here today to get information, just to take back to the community, to the veteran community. I know about 2 weeks ago, I went out to John Prince Park, where a lot of homeless is out there. 30% of those out there are veterans. And listening to some of the stories is they're there, they don't know of some of the benefits that awaits them that they can get, and also a voice for them out there. They don't know who to go to or where to go to receive some of those benefits. So I'm here just to get information, just to take back, not a veteran, never was in the armed service or anything. Did have a brother that was a veteran, passed away now. But yeah, I'm here just to get information regarding to take back to the community.
Very good. Thank you.
Thank you. I'm Tammy Jackson Moore. I'm with Guardians of the Glades, and I'm just happy to be here. This is, I guess, the first time a lot of you will be hearing that we are working with the VA and the United Way to host a Veterans Fair here in the Glades community on July the 10th. So a lot of the information that you're asking for, if you don't receive those answers today, we encourage you to come to the Veterans Fair on July the 10th, because the team will be with us on July the 10th. Out here in the Glades.
Very good. Thank you.
Good morning to everybody. My name is Preston Vickers. I'm a former Marine. I'm basically here just to get some information for I'll be able to carry it back to the community in this organization, what I'm part of, as to what ascertained and what this organizations are going to do for the vet. Because we just recently had a total of 8 young men sign up for the service. So this will be beneficial to the organization which I'm part of.
Thank you. Thank you very much, and good seeing you. I haven't seen you in a while, sir.
Yes, sir, I'm here.
See, you see a vet does his job right. You see he's handing the mic off.
Good morning. My name is Elia Dean. I'm the director at Bridges at Pahokee.
Good morning.
And good morning. So I'm just here to gain information and resources in order to provide the information back to some of the families that we serve. Even though we do have, we primarily work with families with children 0 to 8, those families do sometimes have veterans, and do we have grandparents that are always veterans that are taking care of their grandchildren. So I just want to gain that knowledge and be able to provide that information if needed to our families.
Thank you. Thank you. We have someone passing up there.
My name is Sharon Colvin, and I'm a resident here in Pahokee. And Regina had told me about this meeting, and so I thought I would come and find out what it's all about. And my husband was in the Army and in Vietnam, so, and he is connected with the VA hospital, where he goes and gets treatment or, whatever is needed. But I know there's a lot of other things that could be known that I might find out today, be able to pass on to him.
Thank you.
Good morning, Regina Boland with County Commissioner Sarah Baxter's
Good morning.
office. And I'm just here to get information and then get it out to everybody in the county, and especially District 6.
Good morning, I'm Sarah Perez. I'm ex-commissioner here in the city of Pahokee, and I'm here as support and to get all the information that I can, so hopefully we could help others. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good morning, my name is Barbara King, City Commissioner for South Bay. I'm here to take in all the information that I could so I can take it back to my community and share with the veterans there in my community and surrounding areas.
Thank you. So we have a mic on that. So, okay, if you want to.
Good morning.
One sec, he skipped Captain Payne. And we want to thank Captain Payne for coming to the meeting. Give Captain Payne a round of applause because he must go to 50 meetings a day. Thank you, sir.
Good morning. I am Captain Payne from Palm Beach County Sheriff's Office. I'm actually District Commander for the City of Belgrade. So once again, I'm here. Quite often our deputies run into veterans and there's a lot of information that they don't have. So as much information as I can get and also disseminate back to the deputies where they can also give it over to the veterans that they run into.
But you also are a veteran, sir.
I am also a veteran too.
Yes.
Okay, good morning.
Morning.
Mary Lou Baltazar with the Glades Initiative. I'm the Director of Programs, and pretty much I came to get the information so I can take back to the families that we serve. Thank you.
Good. Good morning. Thank you. Mike, I think he took your job, man.
Good morning. My name is Jeff Walker.
Good morning.
I'm also a Marine, and I'm just trying to get some information to take to some of my fellow veterans that I know, and I'm just here for myself and them only.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
All right. I have. Good morning. My name is Michael Thomas. I'm here this morning representing a nonprofit called Family Creed. I am very much so interested in connecting with veterans and those retired who have a lot to offer, youth in the community. We have chess growing in the Glades or the South County areas, and just looking to see where I can plug in and glean from the wealth of knowledge that we have as veterans in our community. As a side note, I'll say that my son, actually his ship date for the Air Force is June 25th.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Thomas.
My name is Carlton Cartwright. I'm here representing two different organizations. One is nonprofit, both of them are nonprofits. One is the Veterans Memorial and Multicultural Histories Incorporated. We've interviewed over 350 veterans about their service since 2005. And we've done the interviews across the country, nationally actually. It's a federal project actually that was started back in, I believe, 2000 by President Clinton. So we're not the only organization that does those interviews, but we're interested in capturing interviews out here also. From West Palm Beach, Florida. I work up in Riviera Beach at Riviera Beach Preparatory Achievement Academy. The other organization is a political organization, Democratic Veterans Caucus of Florida in Palm Beach County. I was the first chair, and now I'm the vice chair. And I'd like to also bring back whatever information, also share information countywide that is possible. Thank you very much.
Very good. So, it is also my pleasure to introduce this very esteemed panel. We have had the pleasure of having them to actually come to 3 of our meetings, and we looked up and selected the best of the best. And so what I'm going to have you to do one at a time is to introduce yourselves, because we want to make this an intimate meeting so that people can hear and make sure they understand what each of our panels does, and then they'll come out and make their presentation.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Dr. Glemo. I am the Assistant Chief of Mental Health and Behavioral Sciences and also Suicide Prevention. And I'm going to apologize because I'm going to be leaving right after my presentation because I'm covering the person who should be here today.
Oh, Ms. Byers.
And so I will be stepping up after. But you'll have my cards. I'm leaving to Mr. Tate, so you can reach out to me.
Okay.
Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Buzz Bryan. I am the Director of Community Relations and Community Outreach and Engagement for the West Palm Beach VA Healthcare System. I work directly for the Director/CEO of the facility. My role is all-encompassing when it comes to outreach. So I'll give you a quick spiel before, once we get rolling here, but I won't take up too much of your time, but I will make sure you know how to contact me, how to find me, so this way I can help you all out here as much as possible. We know our footprint has not been out here enough. That's going to change, and we're working with Tammy, and we're working with some of our other partners to do some other veteran initiatives out here so we can make sure your veterans in this community are aware of what they rate, what they deserve, and what they've earned. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. My name is LaWanda McFadden. It's a pleasure to be here this morning and to encounter so many veterans in the room. I'm an Army veteran myself, been in for 14 years. So it's an honor to serve other veterans and help in any capacity that I can. I am the homeless outreach social worker at the West Palm Beach VA Medical Center. I cover Treasure Coast region mainly. Also the Minority Veterans Program Coordinator as well. So I'll talk a little bit more about our outreach once we're done with our introductions.
Hi, good morning, everyone. My name is Cynthia Cunningham. I'm also one of the homeless outreach social workers with the West Palm Beach VA.
Thank you.
Good morning, Michelle Masaya, retired Marine Corps veteran. I am a veteran service officer with Palm Beach County. I'm one of 5, but I'm here to make sure it's known what our services are, what our capabilities are, so that more veterans can know about us, because they end up going to outer areas, and so for us to get out, have outreaches as far as possible within the county so that they're aware, it just benefits us to help them, benefits them, and makes everybody better, or all the veteran community better. Thank you.
My name is Jonathan Oakley. I'm the Senior Director for Mission United, the United Way of Palm Beach County. That is to say, the vet guy for the United Way. I apologize for being late. I went to the wrong place. My bad. But the United Way dove into the vet space head first, and I'm the one doing it. So I'll talk a little bit more about what Mission United's all about, but I'm grateful to be here.
Good morning.
Good morning. My name is Warren Pyfrom, born and raised in Belle Glade. I am a colonel, retired Army JAG officer, and I'm also an accredited VA attorney, so I help people with their VA claims. I'm happy to be here. I will answer any questions. I have some answers for some of the questions that you asked regarding veterans interfacing with the legal system. The Veterans Court, I've worked with them, and it's a valuable resource that you guys need to take advantage of and spread the word on, because they do a lot of good work in this community. Yes. I told Houston I have a hard stop at 11, so I will leave some cards, and if you're not able to ask me questions before I leave, I'll certainly be available to you to answer any questions you may have.
Okay. Thank you very much. So before introducing our first speaker, I just want to let you know this is a live recorded meeting, and the purpose of doing that is that since some of you are coming from different areas, we certainly want to give you an opportunity to reap the benefit of these resources that's provided to you, but more importantly, you represent the real olive branch to veterans. And so we're hoping to be able to give you a copy of the recordings, and you can take this back to your respective groups that really make meaningful, in the community is where everything is. Many times, and Tammy can say, we have meetings, sometimes they show up and sometimes they don't. So we're trying to figure out a way, how do we make sure that this wealth of information penetrates and gets into the community? So we're hoping that the recordings, let me know, whoever need a copy, we'll make sure they get a copy, because this is important that this information is disseminated. So our first, that was my little brief commercial. Our first presenter will be Ms. Glamad, and she's already introduced herself. Her presentation is up if you want to come up.
Yes. So I'm going to present about the community engagement and partnership which is a recent program that we have at the VA. But in addition to that, I'm also going to tell you a little bit about the mental health services that we provide at the VA in a very brief way, because we have quite a few. So I know a lot of time we hear the VA is a large institution. It is really big. So knowing who the leadership is and what we're trying to do is bring it, make sure that you know who are the players at the VA. So I will encourage you anytime I left some of my card, you can email me, call me on my cell phone, and I will make sure that if you don't know where to go, that we will connect you, because we know internally who's doing what. So that's why I think it was important, so that you know who the leadership team is. Of course, our director, Mr. Price, our chief of staff, Dr. Williams, that we fall under in terms of mental health services, and some of the services that we offer, and then we with Dr. Rashpara, which is our chief of mental health services. So just to give you an idea, the catchment area that we have, as you can see, we cover 7 counties, all the way from Indian River all the way down to Boca and west to the Glades, Hendry, Okeechobee. And we have CBOCs in different areas, so it's good to know, so yeah, you know which one. We don't have anything near the Glades, but hopefully one day. So this is what our mental health continuum is basically when a veteran comes into our system, they normally come with primary care. We want to make sure that they have a primary care doctor, and primary care normally have PCMHI, which is primary care mental health integration. That is a mental health services that is connected directly with primary care. So as they come and see the primary care doctor, we make sure that if there's anything related to mental health, that they can see the mental health person the same day. So we have accessibility the same day with primary care mental health integration. And if the veteran has moderate to severe mental health problems, then they will be referred to what we call our general mental health program, where we have psychologists, LCSW, LMHC psychiatrists who can see them and provide them the services that they need, which is what we call the BHIP program. And if they need more services that is more specialized to something like PTSD, substance abuse, then that's when we refer them to the specialty mental health services, so they're getting more specific services that can help them with what they're dealing with. And then we have the residential, which is the DOM. Our domiciliary has about 60 beds. Normally it's on the campus of the West Palm, so we provide mental health and substance abuse problem. And sometimes we have also some of the veterans who are dealing with mental health, substance abuse, do not have a place to stay, so we get them at the DOM to provide services for mental health and substance abuse, and at the same time social work works with them to make sure that when they're getting discharged, there's a place for them to go get discharged. And then the top of the continuum is what we call the inpatient services, which is our psychiatric unit. We are a Baker Act receiving facility. That means that if a patient is having, a veteran's having homicidal, suicidal thoughts, they are in the inpatient unit, and they're getting all the services while they're there. So another thing we do as well, we are trying to incorporate the whole health model, meaning that we're making sure that the veterans are getting like meditation, yoga, because we want to make sure that it is integrated within the life of our veterans, that they're not only looking at the higher level of the continuum, like the mental health services, but also on a daily basis that they're doing something to get better. And that we see that we have whole health being implemented in everywhere in the services. So just to let you know about our CPC, the Suicide Prevention National Initiative. Suicide prevention is the #1 priority for the VA. We want to make sure that the story that you say, it really did get to me, because we want to make sure that every veteran who is having any suicidal ideation, they know who to reach out to. The 988 numbers there 24/7, and also making sure that they're getting connected to the right services so that we can prevent suicide. So some of the initiative, which is the CPC, is the last one, and it is one of the priority, like I mentioned. And then we have the initiative started about 3 years ago. And what's interesting about that initiative is that it's community engagement. So we are going out to the community because we know the veterans live in the community. They don't live in the VA. They live in the community. So we need to go out and reach out to wherever the veterans are. And then with the engagement from the community, it's really like a grassroots model to really get the community to tell us what do they need, and making sure that we are building coalition with the community. So it's all like a public health approach where we are looking at the VA, and with our CPC, they're like a mediator between the VA and the community, making sure those links are being built so that we can have coalition everywhere. And that's how we're going to grow the network of support and also improve protective factors for our veterans. Because our goal is, it really takes a village to make sure all our veterans are okay, and that's what we want to build. So some of the priority areas that we have, we want to make sure that we identify all the service members, veterans, and their families, and screen them for suicide risk. The screening is important because we want to know when the person's having the thought before they think of acting on it. So the earlier we know it, the better it is, so we can prevent that. And then the second is promote connectedness and improve care transition. So we want to make sure our know all the services out there so we can connect our veterans to what they need, and also improving the care that they're getting. So if the veterans coming out of from our facility, when they're going back to their community, we would like to know what are the services out there that will make sure that they are getting connected back to their community so that they continue to improve on their health. And the third one is increasing lethal means safety and safety planning. Part of that is that we want to make sure that, especially when you're thinking about suicide, suicide is a thought. The person's thinking, okay, my life is not worth it, I don't want to move on, continue. So we want to make sure from the thought into the action, we put some barriers in between. So from the moment the person has a thought of suicide, the lethal means safety, we provide gun locks. And if you want any gun locks, we have thousands of them. I can ship them, mail them, and bring them to wherever. So we want to make sure they have gun locks so that if a veteran's thinking of something, that they don't have easy access to a lethal mean that they can act on that thought. And then also, that also mean overdose protection. We have some lock pill boxes, making sure the veterans don't have like medication that they can use to overdose. So that's part of the lethal means safety, and also letting people know that there's a way to plan for safety. The same way we do hurricane plan, we do safety plan, making sure in the case of crisis, they know what to do to keep themselves safe. And that includes using their own support network, that includes reaching out to us, and also reaching out to the Veteran Crisis Line, which is a 988 number, or 211 as well. So if you're asking yourself, can your organization be part of the partnership with the VA? Absolutely. So we need all different services, whether it is legal, whether it's career, whether it is medical, mental health services. Everyone can be part of creating that web that we want to create to support our veteran. And those are the coalition goals. We want to increase suicide prevention awareness in the community, decrease the risk factors, and improve the protective factors. I know homelessness is a big one within our counties because of the housing market has tripled, and and their benefits are not tripling. So it's really, really difficult for our veterans. So we want to build a safety net around our veteran. We want to make sure that lethal means safety resources are out there and supporting the needs of our veteran. I know that we have limited resources to serve all the needs, and that's why we need the community along with us so we can partner to be stronger. And just to give you numbers of how many veterans we have in Palm Beach County, we have 76,916. In the Glades County, we have 1,545. Hendry County, and you can see all the different counties that we serve. Those are numbers from the census. So it may not be completely accurate because, we're in 2024, but those are from census. And I'm sure Buzz knows a lot more of the stats. And I wanted to also remind you, these are the Veteran Crisis Line 988, and I know within Palm Beach County we also have the 211 number, but 988 press 1. This is how veteran can connect, and it is 24/7. No matter what happens, this line is still working. 2 years ago, when there was a hurricane that was hitting the West Coast, they moved the 988 to another area so that the veterans from the West Coast, when the hurricane was hitting, will still get access. So 988 is all the time working. And then from Veteran Crisis Line, our team, the suicide prevention, we get what we call a consult, which is basically like a message that comes to us within the next 2 hours. So the next business day, the team, the suicide prevention team at the West Palm VA, we're calling each veteran that called the Veteran Crisis Line. So not only they're getting somebody from the crisis line that speaks to them, but we also the second line that calls them back on the next business day, and in which we assess, we try to see what are the needs that the veteran has, and no matter what it is, we try to address it to make sure that they're getting connected within what they need within the VA.
Will we be able to get a copy of the slide presentation?
Yes, yes. We'll make sure we send a slide to everyone.
And I want to make sure that you know that Cecilia, I'm replacing her today, but she's the person, if you want to take a picture of this slide, that's the person you want to reach out to.
We'll send it out. We'll send everyone, as long as you put your email address and the sign in, everyone will get a copy of everything we're doing today.
So if you have any question, I can stay for a few minutes for questions. If not, then we'll go.
Yeah. If there are any brief questions, because we now need to get all the way down to Mr. Pfeiffer before 11 o'clock. Any brief questions? Give him the mic, please. Who has my mic coordinator?
Is that what is the difference between when you got a veteran and then you've got a veteran that has problems? Say he had, got injured, got shot in the service, and this veteran here that didn't get, it's not service connected is the word I'm trying to look for, right? What's the difference in a service connected veteran and just why?
Well, what I would encourage every veteran is that I know that we work with mental health. Mental health wounds are not visible, right? Where the physical wounds are very visible, the mental health ones, sometimes they're not visible. I would encourage you to make sure that you're getting the evaluation you need, because you can also get service connected for mental health services based on mental health. I've seen service connected for PTSD and different things like that. It's just a matter of making sure it's not us at the West Palm VA that does those compensation and evaluation, because it would be a conflict of interest to do our own evaluation, but you can get the evaluation done, and then if mental health problems is resulting from your service, you want to make sure that the evaluation reflects, and then of course based on what you're presenting, so that you can get service connection due to mental health problems. It's very doable.
One other question.
Oh, yes.
Yes.
The one thing I would add, it's important for veterans to go and register at the VA, so that the VA know that they're there.
Definitely.
And the other thing is to reach out to the VSOs, the Veteran Service Organizations. They really work hard in helping service members identify those issues, get the records necessary in order to submit a claim, and to help them prepare their claim and submit it to the VA, to get that service connection. And oh, by the way, just because you're not a wartime veteran doesn't mean that you're not eligible for services.
Right.
Correct.
Correct.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Okay, I have a question and a statement, and I'm trying to make it brief. I know you got to get out of here. I have a close friend who is a veteran. I know he needs help, but trying to get him to go to y'all is impossible. So what can you do? He's need the type of service that you provide, but what can you do to reach him? Getting him to the VA is not going to happen.
I don't think I really need the microphone.
Pass the mic.
Is there a mobile veterans unit?
Thank you. Is there a mobile veterans a mobile unit that comes out to veterans to help them, especially if they are suffering from mental health issues or severe, physical issues? Is there a mobile unit?
To answer your question, we don't specifically at West Palm, do I need the mic?
No, you don't.
Okay.
You don't,
We,
Buster.
we don't specifically own one. We have access to one. So to answer your question, it's a yes or no question. But for a veteran who doesn't want to come to West Palm for whatever reason, and he's probably not in the minority because I'll tell you, where our coverage areas is. We encompass a lot of veterans. We encounter a lot of veterans who don't necessarily want to make the drive to West Palm, and I don't blame them depending upon where they're coming from. So we can come to you.
Okay, so how do we find out, how do we get that information so you come to us?
I'm going to give you a card today and let you know how to get a hold of me so I can make the arrangements to say, okay, we're going to schedule a day where we can come out here. If it's an emergent type thing, there's other ways that we can assist. It could just simply be go to a local ED, someone else bring them in. You can't get them out of the house, well then we'll have to figure out a way to say, all right, we're going to come to you. So there are crisis interventions teams that we can get out there. We have outreach teams that go out there. I will come out there.
And I want to also remind you that if the person's at imminent danger, meaning the person you feel like they're going to hurt themselves, you have the right to also call the VCL line. And if you have their information, such as their name, the last four, if possible, or at least name or date of birth, we will call you back. And then if we need to send local, actually the PBSO was there, but we work a lot with PBSO, we will send somebody to bring them into a hospital. And that's what the whole Baker Act is about.
I understand the Baker Act, but
Mr. Walker, what we need to do, because like I said, we're going to be, we love your questions. Hold the mic. But what I want to do, in fairness, we've had meetings where all of our speakers couldn't speak because questions was raised. I do have Dr. Gamad's card. I'll make sure that I come to you and give everybody a card based on what she said. Now, up here we have Richard Bryan, and he's the Director of Community Relations and Outreach. Now, we're officially going to let Richard go ahead and Buzz do his presentation. Hold your questions, because the next person also may be extending on what he's presenting. So hold your questions, and I promise we'll make sure we get to everyone. Buzz.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate it.
You're welcome.
Well, good morning. So I'm not going to take a lot of your time because I'm the dumbest guy in the room right now, to be honest with you.
Not true.
I have subject matter experts here from every service that do an outstanding job for outreach. My role is all-encompassing. My role is to brief the director, make sure the director, CEO is aware of what's going on out in the community, find out why our veterans are not engaging our services for whatever reason. It could be, hey, I don't want to come to West Palm, or there's no clinic close by, but that's my role. My role is to come out into the community, attend meetings like this, create relationships, foster relationships, pass them off if I need to pass them off to Palm Beach County VSOs, if I need to make sure that they're connected to United Way and Mission United of Palm Beach County, or whatever county. So real quick, so what does my job mean? My job just means that I'm a connector. I'm a facilitator. It's my role from Vero Beach to Pompano, and as far out west as we are right now, to engage our community, to make sure our leadership team is aware of your concerns, your complaints, your compliments, whatever they may or may not be. We have a mobile medical unit to answer your question. We can get it out here. We can set it up with 2 examination rooms, a lab. We can come out this way. And like I said, we have not had our footprint out here. That's going to change. So real quick, just so everyone understands that there's 3 entities. I don't want to give you the whole spiel here. Like I said, I want to make sure that we can get to our homeless teams and through Jonathan and Michelle and all the way down, so everyone gets a chance to speak. But the 3 separate entities of Veterans Health Administration, Veterans Benefit Administration, as well as the National Cemeteries. All 3 separate entities, not necessarily great. We don't really communicate real well with each other. We're getting better. We're trying. But, my role is VHA. But I can connect you with the VBA contacts. I can connect you with everyone else as well. So West Palm Beach is the hub. We have community-based outreach clinics. Unfortunately, we don't have one out here. There was one in Clewiston and Moorhaven, I believe. but they have since closed for whatever reason. I don't know why. I don't know if they were not being utilized or what the concern was, but I know there was some challenges. But that shouldn't prevent you from enrolling at the VA. The most important thing is to enroll.
Yes.
And the difference between a veteran who served in combat and a veteran who didn't serve in combat is absolutely nothing. If you served, you served. That's how I look at it. That's my role. When you have challenges with enrollment, if I can't fix it or a VSO can't, we're going to find a way to fix it. There's all kinds of eligibility. The eligibility Bible is about this thick. There's all kinds of ways in and out that we can get you enrolled and get you set up and get you the care that you have earned. So it really doesn't matter to me. Some people might disagree with me, in the building, but I will tell you, if you served, I'm going to find a way to get you in that building if you need that care. There's all kinds of new opportunities, even if you have an other than honorable discharge. In the past, we would send you away. Now there are opportunities to get specific types of care if that care is needed. Whether that's mental health, whether that's specific primary care, we can get you in the door. And, Michelle and their team in Palm Beach County do a wonderful job as a VSOs. Our Building 10, we have, if you do come to West Palm, hopefully we'll reopen again. That's where we have our service officers at as well. We're working on that. The building's been closed down for a little bit, but we're working on that. And hopefully August 1st is the date that we'll be back into that building and you can come in there and get your benefits, work with Florida Department of Veteran Affairs. We are all encompassing. So, do we know about PAC Act and Compact Act and Service Act? Have any of you heard about those new acts? Last year was really the year of the act. PAC Act is if you were forward deployed and you had toxic exposure while overseas. That could be, going back to Vietnam all the way through our current conflicts to be evaluated for toxic exposure. There are presumptive diagnoses, illnesses, things that now have changed a lot of eligibilities for our veterans. So that's PACT Act real quick. And Service Act. Compact Act is if you need mental health care, emergent mental health care, you can go to any ED, any local place, get that care, and the VA will take care of it. And we'll also provide, up to 30 to 60 to 90 days of follow-up rehab care, and the VA will take care of you. So, like I said, I know there's lots of questions, and I want to make sure that the rest of the team get through it. I will help you out in any way that I can for as long as I can and continue to make sure your voices are heard at the highest level at the healthcare system. We are working with Tammy to have an event here in July where we're going to bring all of our teams. If you have veterans who don't want to enroll or who don't want to come to the VA to enroll, there's ways to do it online. I don't always recommend that, but we can come here right in this building and set up right here with an eligibility team and an enrollment team and do it right here on the spot. We can come to you. The days of waiting and saying you have to come to us are over. It's 2024. We will come to you. We will set up here. We will bring services here. We will provide you all the information you need, provide you all the guidance you need, and make sure you are well aware of what you're entitled to and what you've earned. That's all I got.
Yeah. Again, hold tight with your questions. We want to give now we're going to have a presentation. Ms. LaWanda McFadden, she's a Minority Veteran Program Coordinator. She's also a homeless outreach and social worker. She's been 3 different meetings with us, and we appreciate you for keep coming back, keep doing a good job. So you want to come to the podium?
I can. We were going to co-present together.
Okay. You can do it there. Okay.
Thank you for having us here, Mr. Tate.
No, thank you for coming.
So there are so many services under the VA umbrella, and I just want to emphasize what Buzz mentioned. There are 3 different entities of the VA, the U.S. Department of Veteran Affairs. There's the VHA, which is Veterans Hospital Administration. That's where we're representing, hospital, right? And then you have the VBA, Veterans Benefits Administration, right? That's where you're talking about your benefits, your compensation, your disability, VA home loans, education, anything monetarily is going to come from VBA. VBA and VHA don't necessarily talk to each other, right? So there's things that we can do at the hospital that's only within our scope. And when it comes to benefits, you'd have to be referred to a Veterans Service Officer. And I know there's some questions about that. And Michelle, who was a VSO, and our gentleman on the end, and Jonathan, I'm going to just skip over you. Just kidding. They are the folks that you definitely want to address those questions to. So I know everyone has questions, but as we move along in this presentation, you will hear your answers, I promise you, okay? So again, my name is LaWanda McFadden. I'm a licensed clinical social worker. I'm the homeless outreach social worker for the West Palm Beach VA Medical Center. My colleague here, Cynthia, we are a two-person team.
Yes.
I cover Treasure Coast, so that would mean Martin County, St. Lucie County, Indian River County, also Okeechobee County, and anything else in that area that I might be skipping over. And Cynthia covers West Palm Beach. We essentially do the same thing, we're just in different areas every day, okay? So we are part of one of the services offered at the VA, Health Care for Homeless Veterans. So our goal specifically is to reach veterans who are either at risk or unhoused. We do outreach, and we connect veterans to health care, and we provide services for these veterans. It is important, in order for us to provide services for the veterans, they must be enrolled at the VA. They must be enrolled. We cannot provide any services under the VA umbrella until they are enrolled. There are several ways, as Buzz mentioned, that the veterans can enroll. They can enroll over the phone. It's not recommended, but it's an option, okay? They can enroll online. They can enroll in person at any of the VAs, whether it's the local clinics or the main hospital, or they can enroll good old-fashioned way by mail, and they mail in their form. So there's multiple ways, and we are coordinating with getting an enrollment team here in your location. But just know that you don't have to wait for that to happen. There are other ways that you can enroll. And we've had veterans successfully enroll over the phone as well. Okay, so I want you to keep that in mind. So we conduct coordinated outreach to proactively seek out veterans in need of assistance. So we are an outreach team, and we are only as strong as the resources in the community. So Cynthia and I, sometimes we would go to food distribution centers to reach out to veterans, or we would go to either faith-based nonprofit organizations, different agencies. If we have word of there are homeless veterans, our goal is to find those veterans. Now, I would say there's some veterans that don't want help, okay? And if you're a veteran and you have friends out there, you know what I'm talking about. Some of them just don't want the assistance. But we try to plant that seed anyway and let them know that we do care and the service is something that they are entitled to. So that's really important for them to understand. And with the PACT Act, that has expanded eligibility, specifically for veterans who have an other than honorable discharge, right? Or general discharge. So benefits have been expanded for those veterans. And if they were told no about 20 years ago, that answer may have changed. So it's very important in order to understand what their eligibility is for services, whether it's housing or healthcare, they have to start with enrollment first. And enrollment will determine what their eligibility is. So we connect homeless and at-risk veterans with housing resources, medical and psychiatric treatment programs, community employment services, and other required supports. We collaborate with these nonprofit agencies, as I mentioned earlier. However, again, we are only as strong as those resources. So if you connect with our engagement team, Buzz, and Miss Cynthia Baez, we can develop that partnership and collaborate to do more outreach events. That's very important. So Healthcare for Homeless Veterans, we work to help veterans out in the community receive these services. I'm going to turn it over to Cynthia to talk about the programs under Healthcare for Homeless Veterans.
Right. So what other programs do we have under the HCHV? Okay. I'm going to skip over the homeless outreach portion because LaWanda just explained that, what we do. One of the other programs that we have is the Veterans Justice Outreach. I know someone asked about, if someone can connect with them. We have several social workers in different counties that work directly with veterans involved in the criminal justice system. I can give you their phone number once we complete all this presentation. We have the Healthcare for Veterans Reentry Specialist. We actually have a social worker that goes into the prisons where a veteran is incarcerated, and if they're about to be released, that social worker will help the veteran enroll, will provide the resources available to that veteran prior to that veteran being released in order for that veteran not to come out and be homeless. So in that way, that veteran knows what resources are available to him or her. We have the Veterans Resource Center. That is a walk-in clinic. It's open from 8 to 3 o'clock. It's at the main West Palm Beach campus. Veterans that are homeless could come in there and shower. They could come in every day and shower. We provide them with food. They can do their laundry, all free, okay? So all they have to do is just come into the clinic. It's building 16 at the main campus, and they can also meet with a social worker. We have 2 social workers in there that they can meet and talk to as well, okay? We have transitional housing. We do contract with Center of Hope and Salvation Army in West Palm Beach, and that is transitional housing. It's basically what it is. It's a veteran goes and they're in a program until they're able to gain permanent housing. We have the guardianship program. This assists veterans who are unable to make decisions for themselves and need a public guardian to make decisions on their behalf. And that's basically some of the programs that we have under the Healthcare for Homeless Veterans program.
So again, Cynthia did mention the Veteran Resource Center, and I don't think it gets the recognition that it deserves, but we have our regulars that come in, and these are some of our regular homeless veterans. They come in, they do their laundry, we provide detergent, and we do have the washer dryers available for them. In any case, we can provide a bag of groceries, whether they have a kitchen, access to a kitchen or not. We do have a limited availability of bus passes that we can provide for these veterans. And we just have different services available through the VRC, but specifically for our veterans who are unhoused. And they can also receive resources as well. And that's important. We do have a clothing closet, so if they, need maybe socks, underwear, shirts, garments, shoes, we do have a clothing closet available. And we can't give them clothes every day. We do track when we give them these items because we do have limited resources. We're always taking donations, by the way. But I don't think that our VRC is utilized enough, what we have. So if you do encounter a veteran who doesn't have anywhere to go to shower, or maybe perhaps you need some clothes, the VRC is open from 8 a.m. to 3 p.m.
This number is very important. If you want to take a picture, I know a lot of you guys mentioned about homeless veterans that you may know. This is the number that they can call. They will be linked to LaWanda and I, okay? So they're open 24 hours, 7 days a week. They can call that number. LaWanda and I get alerted when that call comes in, and then we call them back, okay? And we can guide them basically on what they need to do next. So please take a picture. That's the main number for the homeless hotline. Okay. And this is LaWanda's cell phone number and my contact information. Feel free to take a picture of that as well. You can call me, and if you have any questions.
As I mentioned, everyone will get a copy of this no later than tomorrow. So for those of you who took pictures and you find out it was more of the floor instead of the screen, there's backup for you, okay? So what we're gonna do, I know we're really crushed for time.
Cards on the table as well, Mr.
Yes, cards are here. And I'm just gonna get a comment to Ms. McFadden. She's not just talking. Our office have our food distribution every Friday. And she called me the other day, Mrs. Tate, give me the schedule so I can come to your meeting. she's there every Friday. So she's constantly, they're here. We do come to Canal Point Elementary School as one of our food distributions, and she'll be there. So I'm just saying, they're not just talking in living time. They're at our places, and they're asking me, they're putting pressure on me to get information to them so that they can be here. So I want to give you guys a big round, give them a round of applause for that, because they don't get recognized for doing their job. I hear a lot of people say, I haven't seen you and I haven't heard you, but I'm here to tell you they are there, and all you have to do is to call them, and I guarantee you'll get a phone call. So I want to go now to Mr. Juan Pyfrin, who's a full colonel, a Army judge. You know, Juan is one of y'all. Juan was born and raised right here in Belglade, and the reason why I was so happy to bring him on is because you know him. You know, so when you ask a question, he's going to be real with your answer. So, Juan, we're going to give you a few moments because you've got to leave out of here 11, and then we'll come back to Michelle. So, Juan, take it away, sir.
I'll be brief, and I'm going to leave some cards over here on the table. As I mentioned earlier, and as there's a common theme, veterans have to be registered. They have to be enrolled in order to take advantage of all of the services. That's the gateway. You don't get to the other benefits of being a veteran, being able to take advantage of them without enrolling. Now, that being the case, the other thing that I will share with you is that there are a ton of resources that go unused. There are a ton of resources that are never engaged for a multitude of reasons. I can tell you based on my own personal experience. I was in the Army twice. I got out back in the early 90s. I went to the VA to try to get some assistance, and I was basically turned away. I got out again in 2018. I went to the VA, and the VA welcomed me with open arms. What I would tell you, based on your friend, who may have had a bad experience with the VA, may have had a bad experience post-Vietnam, trying to interface and receive some services, that today's VA is not the VA of 30 years ago. That's right. It's a different place. And it's a different place largely because post 9/11, the past 30 years, because we've been in a state of constant conflict, you have a lot more people who have served. You have a lot better representation in Congress. And the administrations from George W. Bush administration all the way through to the current have made a priority on making sure that veterans are able to get the services that they provide. People get fired for not providing good service to veterans. At the VA, people lose their jobs for not providing good service to veterans. So veterans have to kind of shed that old concept, that old mindset that they had, that the VA is not here for me, and just go. Trust it, give it a shot, because it is better than it used to be. And I can tell you that based on my own personal experience. I'm a 100% disabled veteran. I provide services to veterans, and I give you, and I'll give you an example. The Veterans Court is a process that gives service members who have issues interfacing with law enforcement an opportunity to have their case adjudicated, have that case deferred, and if they enter into the program and they complete the program, it never shows up on their record. And we're talking about felony convictions that are put on that are deferred, and there's a mentor that's assigned to them at the Justice Court. I've been a mentor for veterans. I mean, we have to realize, and this is an important aspect of what I do. When you take that 18-year-old and you place him in harm's way, and in Vietnam it was 1 year, 2 year, 3 years. We have soldiers now that deployed after 9/11 that spent 9 years in combat before they retired. And it's hard to imagine how that breaks the soul. But yet, a lot of those soldiers won't turn to services. But if we can get them in the system, we can get them help. We can get them the help that they deserve. We can get them the help that they've earned. So the way that we interface, I provide appeal process. I direct soldiers, I send them to VSOs. They call me and say, hey, I feel like I want to apply for my benefits. I tell them the service organizations that they need to interface with. I give them some preliminary information about what they need to do to prepare themselves, like in making sure that they've gone to archives.gov and gotten a complete copy of their medical records, both inpatient and outpatient, so that when they show up at the VSO, they've at least arrived with some of the things that they're going to need in order to take advantage of the services, and they can expedite that process. I asked them to bring their rating decision if they've already gone to the benefits and applied for benefits and been turned back, or they want to increase the level of benefits, so we can see whether or not there are resources available to have their rating level increased. We're able to do a lot of work because the regulations are constantly evolving. And if soldiers, sailors, airmen, Marine don't take advantage of the services that are provided to them, your friend, if he goes to the VA, he will get services. But you can't feed a man that doesn't believe he's hungry. You've got to get him to the place where he goes to get the help. And there is some outreach available, but part of what the community has to do is the education process to help people understand that the VA that they're interfacing with now is not the same VA. And even legal resources. I provide a lot of pro bono legal work for veterans, and I just want to make sure that I'm continuing to serve even after I've retired, because the percentage of people who actually serve this country is still less than 2%. So everybody who's eligible, I encourage you. I can't encourage you enough to register, enroll, and engage with the process so you can see what's available to you. I'm going to leave some cards over here on the table, and please call me, reach out to me. If you have questions, I'll answer what questions I can answer, and if I can't answer the question, I'll direct you to resources where you can get the help you need. That's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Piper. Appreciate you. It looks like we were able to make that happen. And as he said, he's going to leave his card, so if you have any specific questions, hold tight, and he'll answer his phone. I've called him several times about things. He's accountable, so give him a call, and he'll make sure that you get the right answer. So next we want to bring up Michelle Macea, and I have to apologize to Michelle. Our last meeting, we had accommodation problems. And I looked up and I just realized that Michelle was not able to make her presentation at that meeting. So everyone, we appreciate you, Michelle, for giving us one more time.
Okay, thank you, Mr.
Thank
Tate.
you.
Good morning, everyone. Again, Michelle Macea. I'm a Palm Beach County Veteran Service Officer. I'm one of 5. We just got our 5th most recently, and he is an awesome addition to our team, but there's only 5 of us for the county. I cover the West Palm Beach, Wellington, and then sometimes spill out into other areas depending on, what the need is. I have one of my coworkers, he's in Delray Beach. He covers Boynton and Boca in that area, but he is extremely swamped, so we'll get some from his area from time to time. Another one is in Jupiter, another one is in Palm Beach Gardens, and I cover the Belglade area and wherever the need is. Basically, what we do is we assist veterans and surviving spouses with disability and pension claims. So a lot of times when they come to my office, one of the first questions that I get asked is, or one of the things that they tell me is, I didn't even know you existed. I didn't even know you were here. And unfortunately, that's what it is. We've come a little more of a ways now. At least the website, our Veteran Services page, is current to 2024. It has all of our photos on it. It has our addresses. We've took a picture of the building, so if somebody's driving, they can recognize, oh, here's a picture from the website to where the building is, so they can make it easier for them to find us. But we're still in the works of getting more, maybe getting posters and things out so that veterans know where we are. But there is a lot of information to give them. We have 1-hour slots. We're going over as many things as we can, usually starting with, are you enrolled in VA healthcare? And for the most part, a lot of them say yes. Some of them say no, or they've applied years ago. Well, I tell them the same thing. Go back and apply again. And we're just educating them on that information, and we are the ones who have the applications. We're the ones who have the knowledge, and we have them sit down, relax. Just give us your DD-214 and your, the items, and we take care of the rest. And we just walk them through the processes. When it comes to a surviving spouse, they're grief-stricken and they've received this giant package from the VA and they don't know what to do with it. Well, that's where we come in again. Same thing, we tell them, bring it in, we make their appointments, bring it in. You don't have to do anything else. Here's a list of what you need to bring. They bring that in and we do the rest. I go if there's a need for outreaches in places, we go there. I've done appointments where I've had veterans come in and they have things called, one of them was called dog tags and coffee. And so he had his own little, with the American Legion, his own little gathering of veterans. He asked if I would go. So I went on a Saturday. I brought a whole pile of applications so we can do claims, and it was 2 hours, like probably 15 minutes of a brief, and the rest of the time was doing claims for them. So if that's how we can do it, then if that's what we got to do, that's what we're going to do. So that's what we do. We also, kind of alluding to your friend, we have sometimes veterans who cannot, or physically they can't, or maybe they don't have a vehicle. They can't come to us. So if they are at their homebound, we will go to their house and do a claim there. Or if they have an appointment at the VA hospital, we will make arrangements, if it fits in their schedule, to meet with them at the VA hospital and do some portions of their claim. So we try our best to make it work with what they have, depending on what their schedules are. We do refer to a lot of resources. So they'll come in and they'll want to know, we'll do their claim and they'll want to know what else can they qualify for, what else can they get. We give them the Florida benefits guides that I see are on the table over there. We do hand those out a lot. We send emails with that information. We go over where they can get information for careers, if that's what they're looking for. Some of them, if it's the homeless information, we do refer them to building 16 as far as, what resources are there. So we spend a lot of time just back and forth with questions and answers that might fit their need. We talk about service connection. So when veterans come in, sometimes they'll sell themselves short. So we'll start talking, and it helps. It's a veteran talking to a veteran. And we just go into what was their situation like, what are they looking for, and some of them, if we didn't have a conversation, there might be no service connection there. It's only because we started chatting about what they did and what they went through that we realized we can connect the veteran to possibly being service connected. So that's just another benefit. And it's, again, just us having a space for them to feel comfortable just to have a talk. And then pension, when we talk with veterans about pension, that's a benefit for those who served during wartime. And that's one that can extend to the surviving spouse of that veteran. Once the veteran passes away, if they served during wartime, that extends to a possible survivor's pension for that widow or widower. So, all things we discuss with them, and once we hit on what's most important, then we just go down those routes. And we submit everything for them there, and we leave them with as many resources as we possibly can. And I think that covers it up, sums it up in a nutshell.
Okay. So thank you very much. And we're also, look like we're going to have time for all of you to ask specific questions. You can just raise the question, and then whoever is the most adept at that question will answer it. Next, we're going to have Jonathan Oakley. He's the Senior Director of Mission United Way.
Thank you. So I'm going to do this super brief. All right. So Mission United, the United Way of Palm Beach County, we are a facilitator and a connector, right? So Buzz is on our council, and we just bring all these agencies to bear to help veterans get the help they need. All right. We partner with the VA, we partner with the county, we partner with local government and municipalities. And oh, by the way, we also partner with a bunch of other resources, Career Source, and nonprofits all over Palm Beach County, all over South Florida, that help veterans out. So if a veteran can't get the help they need from the VA because the VA doesn't provide it, or doesn't provide the flavor they want, right? Then maybe there's something that Mission United has a resource that we've connected with, and you can get them through 211, you can get them on our resource page. But the easy answer is, if you need help, there's help. You just got to ask and tell us what it is you need. And whether it's the big VA, the big pink building on Blue Heron that helps, the county helps with the VSOs and claims, or it's dental from Wounded Veteran Relief Fund, or it's hyperbaric oxygen therapy from Help Our Wounded, or it's mental health at Fort Freedom. There's hundreds of organizations all over South Florida that will do everything from take vets scuba diving to put them in a special chamber to help their brain heal, to make them lie on a couch and tell us about your parents, the whole thing. So that's what I'm here to do, is try to connect all those places to vets and help vets find what they need.
Thank you very much. So that looks like you've had an opportunity to hear all of our presentations. So now this period is for you, the audience, to raise your questions, and hopefully we have enough time to get them answered. Who has the first question?
This is just a comment, take about 1 or 2 minutes.
Okay.
I had some encounters with health issues. I was in pre-diabetes. I'm just going to commend the VA because it's like the colonel said. He said, if a man don't know he's hungry, you can't feed him, and I appreciate that. I went to the VA and got up into the MOVE program. It was a 3-year process, but it's a slow, permanent process. I went from 240, now I'm at 212, because it's a change of way of life. Then I forgot there, I went to the alumni. I left there and went to the Healthy Cooking Kitchen, and you don't have to actually go there physically. Billy, I know you all know her, but she's an excellent, man, boy, she's good. But anyway, it's so many things. We as veterans, we have to spread the words ourselves. Once we get the knowledge,
Right.
each one got to reach one.
That's right.
And so a lot of times veterans, I'm talking and I talk so fast and they say, well, you know a lot of stuff. Well, man, you don't know your benefits you got. You just got to go to Building 10, at the time it was Building 10, and then you get your information and everything. I said, you can ride Tri-Rail free if you're 100% disabled and just get your DD-240 and different things like that. But I'm letting you know that I appreciate the services I get at the VA. I just wanted to let you know that it's a system there in place. We just got to go there, inquire, and then come out and spread the word.
Very good, very good, very good. Next question.
Say that.
I'm sorry?
I heard. Okay, I heard. I heard, and I'm able to take advantage of that recently. Veterans Relief Fund, what is it?
Wounded Veteran Relief Fund?
Right, yes, exactly. Good group. However, you actually have to have an open case that you're filing with the VA in order to get benefit.
Absolutely. Every agency has different requirements. Like Wounded Veteran Relief Fund, it's an honorable discharge and a 30% VA rating. So.
Right. So, but the bottom line is, a good question to take back to the administration is, why isn't there dental health care across the board for veterans after they've separated? Not just, and I know you probably have an answer, but it's a huge problem in the community where, veterans more often than not cannot afford the dental health care, and we need help.
And you're absolutely correct about the dental issue, and it's not getting any better because with the PAC Act and Compact Act, we now have 40,000 new veterans in our catchment area that are now entitled to dental care. So that means they've reached 100% service connection, and we do not physically have the dentists located there. Not that we're not recruiting them and trying to get them in there, we just don't have them as of yet. We're working through that. When you first get off active duty, you're entitled to a dental exam 180 days. Within 180 days, a lot of us miss it. I'm one of those guys. I got out, I ran, I didn't pay attention in TAPS, I don't know, but it's very challenging. I mean, and you're right, and that's where Wounded Veteran Relief Fund can pick up some of the slack and are doing a wonderful job. But you're right, you have to have active claims, you have to be enrolled at the VA. I mean, that's the first question Wounded Veteran Relief Fund's going to ask you. Are you enrolled at the VA? And if you are not, they're going to tell you, go get enrolled, and a social worker will refer you to us. So dental is a huge challenge. We are aware of it. We are working through it. The eligibilities, it's a law that it's not something that we can change at the local level, but we are aware of it, sir. So. We're trying.
Okay. So I think we start off with a question here.
And I would like to agree with the brother right there, because a lot of times I've got a lot of friends, veterans, that are not service connected. And for whatever reason, when you're not service connected, you don't get the treatment like a service connected person. even though both of you all served. But one is not service connected, and he loses a lot of benefits by not being service connected.
And these are veterans that are enrolled at the VA just without, because you could be enrolled at the VA and not have a service connection.
Right. You're a veteran and you enroll at the VA and you go there and there's certain things that you can get. But if you're not service connected, for some reason, you kind of get the down low on your service. You don't qualify for this, you don't qualify for that, you don't qualify for that because you're not service connected. Even though both of you guys went in there scared to death about coming out surviving, you just happen to not be service connected.
Well, I hope that's not the case at West Palm Beach, at our healthcare system. I hope that we don't treat any of our veterans any differently, regardless of if you are 0% service connected, if you're 100% service connected, or you're 10% service connected. I had that a conversation a lot when I was detailed to the Veteran Experience Office for a year, and I would see that a lot. I would see a veteran come in and he might be 10%, he might be 0%, he might be 100%. Because you're 100% for whatever reason doesn't mean that you should be any different or treated any differently. Now, there's different benefits if you're 100% or 10%, but that's just because that's the nature of the world and you have those connected benefits so it's different. But you shouldn't be treated any differently. But there are certain entitlements that you just are not entitled to. I can't get you treated for we can get you mental health care, but it's going to be different if you're service connected for PTSD or if you're service connected for some other things. But we can still help you.
Well, I want to correct. At the VA hospital, you're not treated any different as an individual now. I mean, they treated everybody the same. I mean, you get the same, you know what I mean, respect
Sure.
and all of that, and the kindness. I mean, that's not what I'm talking about. You get that. Right. There, you go there, you feel like you're somebody when you go to the VA. When I go to the VA, I feel special, and they treat me special. You know what I mean? In terms of respect.
Gotcha.
And they appreciate my service time. That wasn't what I meant when I said that. I want to
that's
understand.
okay.
They treat me wonderful when I go there. I'm telling you the truth.
So you mean from a benefit standpoint, what you're service connected for and entitlements and things like that. So I would tell you to, whether you talk to a VSO and you work on increasing your claims or your service connection, that's what I would tell. I just went through the process myself. It's challenging, but that's why we have people like Michelle or FDVA. They are, to me, the SMEs, the subject matter experts. They know the system. They know how to assist veterans with getting increases in their claims and getting, once again, getting connected for what they should be connected for. You want to add to that? Does that make sense?
Yes.
Yeah, it definitely does. So there are times that veterans will sell themselves short, or maybe they want to shy away from the process or whatever it is, and that's where we come into play, because they're like, well, I don't want to. Well, bottom line, you're a veteran, you served, you're checking the boxes. Let us do the process to help you get where you deserve to be. And then, we do our part.
And I tell all the time, and I'm not just throwing Michelle, even Ron and the rest of the team, let them get frustrated with the system. Let them work with the system. We're the government. It's a bureaucracy. It's not always fun. It's not always easy. It takes time. And like I said, but with the new acts, with the PACT and the Compact Act and the Service Act, you really should take a look at your service and what entitlements they are, because a lot of things have changed. There's a lot of new entitlements, a lot of new, predetermined illnesses, injuries that have changed over the last couple of years. So, and it has increased. August will be 1 year that President Biden signed it into law. Then this past March, they increased it. So once again, it doesn't matter if you were boots on the ground Vietnam, boots on the ground Iraq, Afghanistan, wherever. You could have been at Camp Lejeune for 4 years. You could have been on recruiting duty. If you're entitled to some sort of service connection, you have that, then you really should take a look at it.
Mr. Tate.
Yes.
For the panel, one of my friends, close friends, just in a nutshell, he was a don't know if she was a Marine sniper, but I know he was a sniper in the military. Conversation we had maybe about a year and a half ago was he was having trouble. I'm gonna say how he said it. He said, I can't prove what I did because most of what I did was redacted. So, I'm trying to talk to him. I'm trying to understand what he's saying. But I'll repeat in a nutshell, he couldn't prove where he was, and I'm not sure if it was a time thing. I didn't really understand what the issue was, but if somebody can maybe explain what I can tell him and who I can send him to directly, but I'll just state again, he had trouble proving what he did and where he was because of him being a sniper, and I'm sure some of the things they had him doing.
I'll try to answer that. We've had situations similar where sometimes if there is no record, but they have buddies that they served with there that can write a statement. We call them buddy statements to help corroborate. It doesn't have to be where they were and all that, but yes, I did see my buddy, he did injure himself in this way there. I was witness to that. It's an individual. We ask for if they can provide 2 witness or buddy statements of whatever the time frame that injury happened was. That is beneficial in supporting their claim. It's just for us being able to corroborate what happened, not just them telling their story, but others who were there to see it and can put it on paper that's what they seen, and they can leave out things that I understand, locations or mission. They don't need that. They just need that the individual did see whatever happened to that person, and that is helpful. That's something that a bit of advice that we give to them, information that we get from the conferences when we go as VSOs, ways to help them in situations like that.
Very good, very good.
Okay.
Very good.
I'd just like to, just layman's terms, right? I'm not a subject matter expert on any of it. So this is jarhead, right? Crayons and pictures. The PACT Act basically swung the pendulum the entire other direction, right? So we always like to say we do the extremes, right? You kind of go from this end all the way to the opposite end. So previous to the PACT Act, like you had to prove that, some dude sprayed Agent Orange on you from the hose, right? You had to have a picture. You ain't got it. I mean, they fought you tooth and nail on everything. The PACT Act made it where you could have been sitting at LAX airport and somebody walked past you and you thought you smelled Agent Orange on their camis. Hey, we gonna assume that you got it, brother. Like that's as far the other direction as it went. So for anybody that's got redacted stuff, like that matters. But at the end of the day, did you serve? Yes. Did you serve during the global war on terror? Yes. The assumption is you were near a burn pit. The assumption is you got heavy metals in your system. The assumption is you got all these medical problems. Do you have this medical problem? Yeah. Okay, we assume it's our fault. Sorry, dude. Let's do what we can do to get you right, whether that's fixed or financially compensated. So understand that, prior to a year ago, you were going to fight tooth and nail on everything. It's redacted, all of that. Now, you ain't got to fight nothing. You just got to raise your hand and say, hey, I have a military ID and I served. Good. What do you got? The pendulum swung the whole other direction. So get in while you can, because the pendulum might swing back to somewhere in the middle and you may lose out.
And Jonathan is correct. I mean, that's a fact. I mean, you don't have to prove it anymore. You don't have to have documentation that says, hey, I was in Iraq in 2004 and was involved with an IED strike. There's, if you're in those circumstances, sometimes, the role is get out of the kill zone, get going. There's not going to be any documentation. I mean, there'll be some sort of it, but you're not going to necessarily have that medical documentation that says, hey, I did this or I did that. So it's presumptive.
Are there any other questions? Well, we certainly thank you all for coming. I thought this was a well-received and well-prepared meeting. We thank you for coming. We also want to let you know that for those of you who would like to get a copy of any of the presentation, if you signed and left your email that's legible, let me repeat that again. If you left your name and email address that's legible, my staff will send a copy up to you.
And if it's not legible, we will put it on our website, pbc.gov/OCR, as soon as we have it available.
Very good.
So you
And
can just check up the website like in a month or so, and you'll be able to see it.
And maybe what we'll do, George, make that note and send that out so people will, they don't have to worry about what was that website. Send that information out that it will be there. So we give this panel one, you know, they just blow me away because the uniqueness of this panel to be intimate with each other, to be warm with each other, because I'm watching you guys. You guys are asking difficult questions, and you don't want difficult answers. And they show compassion with their answers, and I think we did a great job of having the right folks. And I know Juan Pyfron is gone, but you know, all of you who have helped us to make this meeting possible, we thank you. Tammy, we thank you for your getting out and being in the trenches.